Some people say Biden's going to make it. Does anybody think he's going to make it to the starting gate? I mean, the guy can't find his way off of a stage. Look, here's a stage. Here's a stage. I've never seen this stupid stage before, right? I've never seen it. But if I walk left, there's a stair. And if I walk right, there's a stair. And this guy gets up. Where am I? Where the hell am I? Where am I? Nah, he's terrible. Terrible. You know, I'm much tougher on him than I used to be. Out of respect for the office, I was never like. He's the most corrupt president, the most incompetent president we've ever had. But when they indicted me, and then again and again and again, I was never indicted. Now I'm setting records. Al Capone was not indicted so much. Alphonse Capone. If you looked at Al Capone in the wrong way, he'd kill you. He was not indicted like me. I was never indicted. I didn't know. When they taught me at the Wharton School of Finance, they didn't talk about indictment. It's a disgrace what's happening. They've weaponized elections. They've done everything. I mean, these are very bad people. But I used to talk relatively nicely about them. I wouldn't go out of my way. I wouldn't say the things I say now. Now I'm just all in because these people are bad and they're dangerous, and we have to stop them. I wouldn't say what I say now. I never did. I'd joke, I'd have a little fun with it, but I wouldn't call him. I call him the worst president in history. I call him the most corrupt president in history, and I call him the most incompetent president. Other than that, he's doing a fabulous job, I think, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing a fabulous job. Along with crooked Joe Biden, Newsom is also killing our car industry. Your cars are ridiculous, what's happening, and crushing our great automakers in Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Under his leadership, this is Newsom, California has imposed the most ridiculous car regulations anywhere in the world with mandates to move to all-electric cars. The problem with an electric, you lose all your jobs in China and other countries. They're not going to be made here at all. I was up in the other day in Michigan, like the other night. We had an incredible crowd. And they were the United Auto Workers and others, but we were sort of focused on the auto workers. I said, you got to endorse Trump because I'm going to save your industry. We're going to have a thriving car industry. This lunatic is going to destroy. He's going to go all electric. Think about all electric. And I have no problem with electric. You should be able to buy an electric car. You should buy a gas-fired car. You should buy a hybrid. You should have. Some people like electric. If you want to drive for 14 minutes to the candy store, electric is very good. But if you actually want to get into a car and drive for a few hours, you know, they're doing a couple of other ones with electric. They're going electric crazy. It doesn't work. They want all electric army tanks now. Think of this. So they want to have an army tank that's electric. You can't get it recharged. It doesn't go far enough. It doesn't go strong enough. But they want to have electric. So that we go into enemy territory. We will blast the shit out of everybody, but at least we will go in with environmentally nice equipment. Now, do you believe it? No, can you believe it? Then they want to have our jet fighters. Our jet fighters are the best way to go. They can make a turn on the size of a dime. Boom, boom. They want to use fuel that's a little bit better for the environment. So that as we're attacking some country, trying to devastate some country because they've been bad to us, we go in, we're dropping bombs all over the place, but at least we're not leaving any environmental footprint. These people are crazy. And the problem is, you know, I stopped it because they came to see me. Sir, we have a new fighter jet. We think it's environmentally friendly. I said, who cares if you're dropping bombs all over the place? You're shooting everybody. No, it's true. You're shooting everybody. No, we think it's environmentally friendly. I said, what's the bad side? Well, there is one problem. It's about 15% less effective. That's a lot. You know what 15% is for a fighter jet? The difference between being shot down and shooting the other guy down. That's the difference. That's a big difference. And then another beauty, just while I'm on it, you don't mind if I go off script, do you? They like it. I have the greatest guys. Ross is back there and Vince, they're greatest guys. But you know, every once in a while, you got to go off script. You just can't. You got to do it. But how about this one? The trucking industry, supply chain. We got enough problems. You never heard about supply chain during the Trump administrations after we left. They want trucks now to go all electric. And they give them a very short period of time. So all these big, beautiful companies, they have these massive Peterbilt and Trowers, have these big, beautiful trucks that cost a fortune. They have a tank of diesel that goes 2,000 miles. Think of that. Up to 2,000. That's pretty much max. But 2,000 miles. An electric truck doesn't have the right torque or pull. We'll have to ask somebody. In other words, it's not as good, but it goes 300 miles. So they have to stop approximately 6.5 times every time. And by the way, it takes a long time to juice them up. And I don't even talk about the fact that, you know, you don't have charges, because if it was good, you could build them, right? But, you know, they're building charges all over the place. It's a disaster. You know, they say, you know, the greatest part about having an all-electric truck? The first 10 minutes after it's charged up, you're so happy. But after 10 minutes, now you're in a state of trauma because you're wondering, where the hell am I going to get a charge to get this truck? Very traumatic. It's a very traumatic experience. So you have a truck that goes 2,000 miles and those beautiful things. They got the bedrooms in there good enough for Trump to live. I'd live in one of those trucks. You ever see those big, beautiful rooms? They make them like suites now. These trucks are incredible. They're unbelievable, actually. They're incredible machines. One of the top guys in the industry said they'll all go bankrupt. The supply chain will die. And, you know, I shouldn't even say this. I should let it happen because it's good for the election. But I don't want our country to be hurt. They won't do anything, though. You know, like open borders. You'd think they'd close the borders. They're not doing it. You would think they would be closing the borders right now. They don't care. They actually want, I think they want to destroy our country. But with the trucks, you would think that they'd sit down for about 3 minutes with trucking companies, and after 3 minutes, they'll say, sorry, we can't do that. I was with Great Boaters. They make a great, South Carolina the other day. Great company. They make boats. Now they're starting on, they want an all-electric boat. They don't want to use the mercury and the different, you know, the gasoline-powered engines. They want all-electric. So I said to the head of the companies like 50 years old, doing great, make hundreds and hundreds of boats. But now they're not selling well because the interest rates are too high. They're not selling the whole thing. They said, sir, I mean, I'm like an angel to them. I walk in because they had the best 4 years of their life. And he said, now it's all ending. But now they want to force them to go 2 things. 2 miles an hour. You know what that is? A slow golf cart goes 10 miles an hour. Up to 90 miles. Up to 90 miles, 2 miles an hour. I said, how far does the boat go? 60 miles. So in other words, beyond what the boat goes. They want them to go just very slowly. And they want to do, the new regulations are coming out, all electric boats. I said to the man, and this is a pro, if I could sit down with him in 5 minutes and know exactly what you have to do. I said, would it work? No, sir, because the entire boat would have to become a battery. The batteries take massive amounts, and it would be so heavy that it would sink. And then I asked him a question. He said, you must have a science background. I've never been asked. If you're in a boat and you're sitting on top of a battery and the boat starts to sink, do you get electrocuted? Let's say the boat is going down and you have a choice. You got a shark that's 10 yards away, or you can go down with the damn boat and get electrocuted. Honestly, you know what I take? I'm taking the boat every single time. I want the boat. But this is where we are. They want army tanks. These people are crazy. But the trucking industry is probably worse than the auto industry. I have a friend that bought a car, and he thought it was environmentally good. By the way, it's environmentally bad because the batteries are a disaster. You can't get rid of them, all those things. But I have a friend, he bought a car because he's a conservative guy, but he wanted to be, he believed all this nonsense that they're putting out. And he bought a car, and he always makes a trip from Kentucky, politician, he makes a trip from Kentucky to Washington, D.C. quite a bit. And he'd usually make it and, get out of the car, and he'd probably have gasoline left over, no big deal. Now he goes, and he's stopping all the time. Stop, stop. The guy was a nervous wreck, like he got down there about 4 days later. The guy was a disaster. I said, are you okay? Yeah. I said, how's your environmental experience working? But, electric cars fine if you're going to go short distances. You're going to go, within very short distance. But we have to make everything available. Hybrids are good. All gasoline is good. Don't forget, we have more gasoline than any country in the world, and we're sitting on top of it. And you see where the UAW is on strike. We were up with them, as I told you, and they're on strike, and they have a leader who hates Trump. He hates Trump. I said, listen, here's a story. I have an idea for the leader. He hates Trump because I'm a Republican, because they don't know, all they can do is see Democrat. The Democrats are going to destroy. You're not going to have any auto workers left, and it's going to be in 2 years. And I told them, you're negotiating these wonderful hourly wages, but it doesn't matter because in 2 years you're not going to have any jobs left. They lose $60,000 on every car they make, all electric, $60,000. So these companies are, for the most part, going to go bankrupt. But what's going to happen is they're going to close them up and have the cars made in China, where they can buy them much cheaper. You're not going to have any jobs left. So tell your union that if you're smart, they should endorse me immediately, and you're going to have a thriving life. And I believe the UAW workers will be on my side, 95%. I really do. They're all screaming, we love Trump. You ought to see the crowd. We love Trump. But their union boss is a big Democrat. He likes Biden. What's to like? I said, what's to like? He has no idea who the hell you are. And if you ask him tomorrow, did you meet with the union yesterday? He's going to say, I have no idea. This guy. But you know what? His radical left Marxists that surround him in the office, they know who they are. You see, they know who they are because he's not running the country. The people that are running the country are the people that are in the White House, and they're vicious. They're vicious, and they're destroying our country. Under a Trump administration, gasoline-fired engines will be allowed, but child sexual mutilation will be banned. Is that okay? You okay with that? And we, those involved in California's depraved new laws that strip parents of parental rights. Can you believe? Can you believe? Who would have thought that 10 years ago, if somebody got up and said, we will stop child sexual mutilation, people would say, is this guy crazy? Who would have? We have to stop it. It's going on at a level nobody, without parental rights. Or who would say that we will give parental rights over your children back to parents? Who would think that you would have to say, or that men in women's sports will not be allowed? Who would think? Can you imagine this? Brian Urlacher, the big football player, great football player from Chicago, he's a massive guy, big, strong guy. He was a great Hall of Famer and everything. He played for Chicago. And I was with him a couple of months ago, and we were standing at my golf club in Palos Verdes, Trump National, and he said, we were talking about things, and I looked at the size of this man, right? He's retired now, but had a Hall of Fame career, top of the line guy, great player, but big. And my manager came over, Lily, she's fantastic, but she's very small. She's the size of his leg, maybe. And I took a picture of Lily and Brian Urlacher, and I said, we will not allow men in women's sports. And you saw the other day they had a weightlifting deal going on, and This one young woman, she was so proud. Her parents were in the front row. She was going to break the record. They put a quarter of an ounce on each side of the thing. Stood for 18 years. And she got up and I don't want to imitate her because, you know, my wife, the First Lady, hates when I do this. She said, "It's not presidential." I said, "Yeah, but people like it." It's good. She hates it. Our great First Lady. She'll say, "I love your speech today," because it's all over the place. Look at the fake news back there. We get a lot of ratings. You know, we outdid the debates in the ratings. I made my speech to the UAW, and we got better ratings than they did. But no, she said it's not presidential, and I understand. She has two things, that, and she doesn't like when I dance a little bit to the music. That's not. And I say, I have a problem. Everybody wants it. They're screaming, "Dance, dance."